Okay, y'all, finally here at the All-Star break. Got 97 games played. Mets at 40 and 57. Only 3 teams have a worse record than us: Kansas City, LA Angels, and the Rockies. We are 16 games out of first place and 12 games out of the last wild card spot, all but mathematically eliminated, but you already knew that. In this video, we're going to go quickly over the last 2 series against KC and Boston. Then we'll be handing out some grades for the team at this point in the season. I'll try to get that on this video. If the games take too long, then I'll make a separate video for that, but we're going to go for it. So, yeah, after a 4-game split in Atlanta, seemed like we were up for a fight, bringing it back home to play the Kansas City Royals, whose record is just as bad as ours. Game 1 of the series was just a crazy adventure, emblematic of just how bad the season has been, where we find new ways to lose games in every way possible. In this game, the pitching was just beyond awful. Mets went up 3-0 in the first on a play that included errors by 3 different Royals. Carson Benj, he was up with 2 outs and runners at first and second. Bench a dribbler off the third base side of the mound. Royals pitcher Seth Lugo picked it up, threw it away to first. The first baseman chased it down. He threw it over to nobody. Then the third baseman got it and threw it away towards the plate. The 2 runners would score during this circus, as would Benj. Mets would give 2 of them right back with Tyler Tolbert hitting a 2-run home run. Tolbert would eventually end the game with his second 5-hit game in a row. And that he would also tie a major league record with a hit in 12 consecutive at-bats before a fly out in the 9th inning of this game. So some interesting stuff there from an unlikely person. The guy's just kind of getting his feet wet in the majors, but yeah, good for him. I'll be keeping an eye on him, see if this is real or not. AJ Ewing, he'd make it 5-2 with a 2-run home run off Lugo in the third. Royals scored 2 more in the fourth off Senga. An RBI single by Ewing and a 3-run home run by Soto would make it 9-4 Mets after 4 innings. Austin Warren and Huascar Brazaban would then allow the Royals to tie the game at 9 by allowing 5 runs on 5 hits, 2 walks, and a hit by pitch in the 5th inning. Yeah, so we had the lead, and these guys just gave it right back. Just a terrible, terrible job, specifically Warren. It was later found out that he had some type of injury, and he's going to be out. We go to the 7th end, where Matt Seelinger for the Mets would make his first major league appearance. A guy that we just picked up off the scrap heap, trying to soak up some innings for us and maybe never to be seen again. We've been kind of pumping and dumping guys throughout the season. I brought this guy up just to see if he could help some. He allowed 7 runs in 1 inning on 4 walks, a single, 2 doubles, all of that around a 2-run home run by Nick Lofton, Kansas City. The Mets scored 2 back in their half of the 7th on another run and another run in the 8th. But the deficit was just too great at that point, and the Royals would win 16-12. To Seelinger's credit, he did come back out for the 8th and only gave up a 1-out double to Lofton again. That cut his ERA in half from 63 to 31.5. See, the first game of the series, Senga 3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 4 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks. Perez was the opener in this one. He pitched the first inning. Senga doing what he does, gives up runs. Warren As I mentioned, left with injury. He didn't get any outs, 5 runs, 4 hits on a walk. And then Seelinger, 2 innings pitched, 2 Ks, 7 runs, 5 hits, 4 walks. AJ Ewing, 4 for 4 with a home run, 3 RBIs, 4 runs. Ben's 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Soto with the 3-run home run. So, hey, we got some offense there. Just the pitching was just a disaster. Moving on. That was just bad way to start the series. Game 2 was a lot more normal. Got Christian Scott continuing his encouraging progression. He threw 5 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts. AJ Ewing led off the Mets first with a home run. Tobias Myers would come on in the 6th with the Mets up 1-0 and proceed to allow the game to be tied on an RBI bloop single by Salvador Perez. Mets would tack on 5 in the 8th, loading the bases for Jared Young, who was hit by a pitch to score 1, followed by a Brett Beatty single to score 2 more. With Alvarez at the plate, a wild pitch would allow Young to score and an Alvarez single to bring home Beatty. KC would score 1 in the 9th off Xavier Curry, but the Mets win 6-2. So we come back in the second game, get some decent pitching. Other than Myers, once again, Scott, as I mentioned, I got high hopes for him. Looking for him to just get through this season in good shape to, come back after the offseason and be ready to go next year, full strength. Yeah, I like what I see in him. Myers, 2 innings pitch, gave up the tying run there. Raley inning pitch, Xavier Curry, another scrap heap guy, inning pitch, earned run. Ewing 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. Ben's 2 for 3, a walk and a run. Beatty 1 for 4, 2 RBIs. On to game 3, going for the series win. We sent out Sean Manaea, trying to find some consistency in his results. Manaea allowed a home run to the first batter, Lane Thomas, but nothing else for the first 3 innings. Mets tied it in the second, or a Jared Young double to score bench. Bobby Witt Jr. He led off the 4th with a home run off Manaea. So, leadoff home runs hurting us. Mets would score 5 in the 5th. Then Tyrone Taylor led off with a home run. Taylor entered the game for Mark Vientos, who was hit by a pitch, and he's going to be out for a while. Looks like a pretty bad injury. So we'll see what that means for him. But we can talk about that at a later date. The Mets, after the Taylor home run, then loaded the bases on singles by Beatty and Ewing and a walk to Soto. Bo Bichette scored Beatty on a sac fly. Then Benj would single to center to score Ewing. And Soto would follow scoring when the center fielder threw the ball away at third base. Francisco Alvarez, he brought Benj home with an RBI single. Before leaving the game, after 7 innings, Manaea would allow an unearned run after an error in left by Soto and then an RBI double. Soto would get that run back for us with a home run in his next at-bat. Brazoban and Williams will lock down the next 2 innings. Mets win 7-3. Take the series from Kansas City, a team we should beat. Just that first game was crazy. I mean, we're scoring 12 runs and give up 7-run inning after already allowing a 5-run inning for them to tie. Pretty clean game in game 2. Game 3, Manaea, 7 innings pitched, 6 Ks, 2 earned runs, 6 hits, a walk. Brazoban, Williams, pretty clean. Ben's 2 for 3 with RBI, 2 runs. Soto 1 for 2 with a home run. Taylor 2 for 3, double and a home run. Series as a whole, Mets 25, Royals 21. far as runs scored. So, good start. We can't win them all. We'll take series wins at any time, even against bad teams. And that's what happened. So try to keep the momentum going by taking this series against another last place teams. And we got the Red Sox coming to town, and they're hanging out in the AL wildcard picture. Red Sox did have some flight issues coming to New York from Chicago after they swept the White Sox there. And in fact, the Red Sox had also swept the series before that in LA against the Angels. So they're coming in hot, but with their flight delays, the Mets chilling at home waiting for them. We have the rest advantage. We keep the momentum going in this one. The home stand against a hot team. Got Nolan McLean on the mound. First batter hits it out to Soto, drops the ball, turning an easy out into a double. Then McLean allowed a walk and gave up a 2-run double to Yoshida, putting the Mets down 2-0. Until the Mets scored in the third on a leadoff single by Beatty, who then stole second and scored on a sac fly by Soto, making it 2-1. McLean would leave after 6 with 7 strikeouts and only those 2 unearned runs allowed. Minner came on for the 7th, allowed a single and a home run. Senga pitched a scoreless 8th. Perez came on for the 9th and gave up a walk and a home run, making it 6-1 Boston. Mets got 1 back on a Brett Beatty home run to make the final 6-2. So not a good start there, although just with the early error, obviously it wasn't a 6-run error, but the way some people are treating it. But yeah, McLean couldn't really work around that. Walked 2 guys, 7 Ks, 5 hits over his 6 innings. Minter, 2 runs allowed. Perez, 2 runs allowed. Beatty, 3 for 4 with a home run. 2 runs and a stolen base. Soto, 1 for 3 with an RBI. Ewing, 2 for 4. Game 2, you got 4-inning Freddie on the mound. Freddie Peralta trying to regain some trade value for the team. Struck out the side on 8 pitches in the first inning, so good start there. Then he needed 27 pitches to get through the second, allowing a single and 2 walks. He got through the third on an easy 10 pitches, but then in the fourth, he allowed a leadoff walk and a 2-run home run to Monasterio. After a walk and a double and another walk to load the bases, he was removed with 1 out in the 5th. Brazoban would finish off that inning without giving up a run. So, yeah, Peralta couldn't even make it out of the 5th. Guy just wastes too many pitches, has trouble getting ahead in the counts, and then when he does get ahead, he seems like he has trouble putting the guys away. He's not as advertised other than being called 5-inning Freddy, which has now been reduced to 4-inning Freddy, at least on this channel. Mets couldn't score in this game. They had 3 hits, but also 7 walks. So another shutout for the offense. Tobias Myers, he'd give up a 2-run homer in the 8th to make it 4-0, and that was the final. So, yeah, not too much to talk about on offense. I mentioned Peralta, 4 1/3 inning pitch, had 6 Ks, but also 5 walks, 2 runs on 3 hits. Brazoban, Minter, Raley combined for 2 2/3 innings, and then Myers gave up 2 runs as he's been doing. Alvarez 2 for 3 with a walk. Polanco 1 for 4. And again, Mets 3 hits, as you see them there, and 7 walks as a team, with a bunch of guys having 1. So we go to game 3, trying to avoid a sweep. Mets called Zach Thornton back up to pitch on Sunday. I said it before in one of my other videos. I think it was, the last time he pitched, obviously. I was figuring he'd be back soon. Looked good. He only making his third career start in this one. The lefty looks like he belongs, after that first full inning in his first start against Washington, where he allowed 3 runs. He only allowed one other run in the next 3+ innings of that game. He threw 6 innings against Philly with only 1 run allowed. And he was the main highlight of this game until it got ugly at the end for the Mets. Francisco Lindor, he'd put the Mets up in the first with an RBI double to score A.J. Ewing, who led off the inning with a double. And in the meantime, Thornton was cruising through 6 scoreless innings. In the Mets half of the 6th, Lindor would hit one out, making it 2-0. Thornton pitched one more inning after that, handing over to Luke Weaver for a scoreless 8th. Devin Williams came on for the 9th, up 2-0. He allowed a leadoff single. After a pop-up to the next batter, he induced a ground out to Lindor at short, which may have been turned for a double play. Looked like it should have been turned for a double play to end the game. Instead, Lindor fumbled the ball. It rolled away from him, and we got no outs on the play. So it went from a game ender to big trouble. And then Williams made it worse by walking the next 2 batters to bring in a run. And then, of course, the bloop to right field, Benj coming in, made a slide, couldn't get it. That allowed the tying run to score. Next batter hit a liner to Zach Short at second base, who was able to turn 2 with a flip to second base. So we got our double play. It was just too late. Mets were only able to get a single from Young in the 9th, so we go on to extra innings. In the 10th, Red Sox were able to bunt the ghost runner over to third and then score him on a sac fly, the next batter. For the Mets, had the ghost runner, obviously, Polanco with a strikeout, a fly ball to left by Beatty, and a ground out by the pinch hitter, Bo Bichette. He stranded the ghost runner, and the Mets lose the game 3-2. Get swept by Boston at home and totally ruin the gem thrown by Thornton. What a waste. Thornton on the day, 7 innings, 5 strikeouts, only allowed 3 hits and 1 walk, and was really making some quality pitches out there. You could say the Red Sox, may have been satisfied with taking the series win, but they had swept 2 series in a row, trying for a third sweep. They're right on the cusp of the AL wild card. I'll have to check the standings to see if they made it in after this sweep. It looks like they're a half game out. So, yeah, they're trying to win games. No doubt about it. So that was no joke performance by Thornton. Weaver, the 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Williams obviously got victimized by the Lindor error, but, just made things worse with the walks. And then, you get beat by, bloopers when shit like that happens. And Lindor, I don't want to say evened it out with his bat, but because that double play could have ended the game there if he just fielded it cleanly. It was very routine. But he was 2 for 4 with a double home run, 2 RBIs. So his bat's coming alive a little bit. He looks pretty solid at the plate. He's just, man, it's just a ongoing thing with this team. Just mental lapses in the field, causing us to lose games when we are actually playing well. And then, obviously we're going to lose games because we can't hit some nights, and a lot of others when we just can't get guys out either. So, finding every way to lose this season. as I'm sure everyone has witnessed. AJ Ewing, 1 for 4, double a run. Mets only 6 hits, 1 walk. Couldn't do anything in the extra innings, so that screwed us. Mets 4 runs only in the series. Red Sox 13, taking the last one in 10 innings. So, yeah, 40-57 after 97 games. None of this is looking good. So we're going to hand out some grades here for the first, it's a little more than half of the season, but it is the All-Star break, so it's good a time as any to take a step back and, look at the whole season up to this point. So I got this little figure put together. We got the hitters on the left side of the screen here. I gave them a number grade and a letter grade just to break it down a little bit further with the percentage. Bo Bichette, I gave a 70. Obviously, he's struggled, especially in the beginning of the season. Come on a little bit lately, getting his numbers back up to close to salvageable. But the main thing with him is just he's been there every game up until just this past series where, I think they were trying to give him a break other than that pinch hitting role in the last game where, he came out, trying to get a hit, hopefully win the game. Didn't happen, but yeah, a lot of mixed grades with Bichette, but on the whole, I'm going to stick with a 70, just making a C. Obviously, expect more from him. Carson Bench could be a lot higher if he didn't have the struggles in the beginning. Obviously, it was just the start of his career, but man, really like what I see. And we got a player for the future. I'm going to go with a 88 for him. I think there's more juice there, especially on the base pass. Been solid on defense and putting up some good power. Juan Soto put up the numbers that we've come to expect from him, leading the league in OPS. Just with the time he missed, definitely hurt the team, and then just a lot of lackadaisical plays in the outfield. He's also made some good plays, but man, just at this point, the lackadaisical ones are just really standing out to anyone who watches the games. And it's like he's not a bad fielder. It's just like the concentration out there. If he concentrated half as well as or to half of the degree that he does at the plate, man, he'd be an excellent fielder. So I got to knock him for the missing time and some of the defensive lapses. Hard to knock a guy when he's almost at 1,000 OPS, but yeah, we were expecting a little bit more effort on the defense. Brett Beatty just hasn't made the jump that we were expecting him to. Put him at a 65, gains a little bit of points just on his versatility, but the hitting has just not been there. He's hit for a decent average lately, but really hardly any power. He did hit a home run, but the expectation is a little bit more for him. Semien, hadn't really expected much from him, but the solid defense hadn't been there. He had some clutch hits. He was doing pretty good in RBI situations, and he's out now too. So that was a tough grade, but I'm gonna stick with a high D, 68 for him. Same with Vientos. Probably even won a couple games for us, but also lost a few especially with the defense. And the guy, I don't know, he just seems to not be able to recognize pitches, and also hasn't taken that step forward to kind of show us a little bit of what we saw in 24. Francisco Alvarez Guy missed some time, swings way too crazy for the power that he has. Give him some credit for coming back quickly after the knee injury. I mean, it was unbelievable how quick he came back. But I mean, I want to see with him also, progressing forward. I don't think he's going to be a Gold Glover, but he's decent behind the plate. But man, we really need to see that power, and he has it easily. He's just trying to swing out of his shoes sometimes, and that's even how he got hurt, from what I could tell. AJ Ewan, highest grade on the offense. I'm giving him a 90 with an A. I think there's some more room there, especially a little bit on the defense. I mean, for the most part, he's locked it down. And, from what this kid's been asked to do, it's hard to knock him at all. I would just like to see him get some better jumps on stolen base attempts and just tighten up the defense a little bit more to plate discipline, and even especially the power has been amazing to watch. Luis Torrens, 75, great defense, excellent at throwing out runners, got some clutch hits for us here and there. I like what I see with him, especially as a second catcher. Francisco Lindor, just a lot of missed time, and some of the plays in the field. It's just I just seems to be a result of missing all that time. Bat seems to be coming around a little bit, and now we got the break coming, so we'll see how that goes. Mostly incomplete on his part, but give him a 65 just to put a number up on it. Jared Young, probably better than anyone would have expected, and then providing some defensive value at first base. Probably not an everyday player, but he's definitely been a positive to the team. Tyrone Taylor, 72, had a little power surge lately. Kind of stunk it up before he went out with the injury first time, and then just guy gets extra points for that home run he hit against the Yankees. So, these are all also graded versus expectations as well. So it's not them as like an overall player. Robert Jr., Polanco probably shouldn't even be mentioned here, just how little they've been on the field, but I'm going to give them Fs, mostly for missed time, but also for not doing much when they are here. Going to pitching side, we got Nolan McLean. Had a couple rocky starts. I'm going to leave him at an 84 with a B. I know he can do better than that, but I don't want to put anything against him. I mean, a lot of times, he has such crazy movement on them pitches that it's hard to, it's going to take a lot of effort for him to try to harness all that. But I like the way he's going. Peralta, just false advertisement on him. Guy can't put batters away and just can't give us length, really, when that's what we expect from a guy like that. 72C. Sean Manaea, a lot of struggles, a couple good efforts. I'm going to give him a 70. Peterson off the team, give him a 63. I don't know. Christian Scott definitely going in the right direction. Could even be higher, but they kind of got the training wheels on him as far as innings go. I definitely like what I see, and then he came back strong from missing a start or two there. Clay Holmes was great when he was on the field. Kind of a freak play where he got hit by that comebacker. I'm going to give him a 75 just for the time that he's been out there, but he probably would be up around 90 if he had continued doing what he was doing. Tobias Myers, just up and down, just getting rocked. I had higher expectations for him. I'm going to give him a 57. So F grade for Tobias. Browser Bond, pretty good compared to what we expect from him. 78C, Senga, F. Luke Weaver, probably the best performance on the entire team. Give him a 96 and an A. Rayleigh, 86, B. Austin Warren, until recently, was pretty solid.